Welcome to the PoP. Welcome to the PoP. On the Warner Sports Network. With your hosts, Gene, it's magic. James, Woody. Nigel, down. And Caleb, Pink. The PoP. Welcome to the PoP. Welcome to the PoP.
Oh, snap the pop off. What is up? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Really depends on where you're at right about now. But hello from all of us from the pop off. Man, I'm so glad that you guys tuned in, and I'm so glad that all my fellas are here today. We're going to do this off right. This is going to be exceptional, and I am excited. First and foremost, let's go around the horn and say what's up to everybody. Gene, or a guy representing Gene, or somebody who could have been Gene. What did you do with Gene? What's happening, my guy?
I guess I've probably known you the longest out of this group, Nigel, and you've never known me without a beard.
Never, not one time. I
decided, I went to the barbershop this morning. I said, what would be the biggest change I could do? And I said, let's just cut it all off and we'll start fresh. I might grow it back. I might not. We'll see. I'll probably go with the direction that pisses most people off.
It looks like MC Search from third base.
I'm not that chubby, am I?
I'm so glad that there was a slight pause for Caleb to jump in with that joke. Very funny. Caleb, what's up, bro?
Face.
How you doing?
I'm good. It's the gas face. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What y'all see? Listen, if you know hip hop, you be like, oh!
I know the gas face.
Oh, that's amazing. Last but certainly not least, the James Woody. What up, dog?
I'm hyped. We're all back. We have full strength at the pop off. I really don't know. You guys are choosing to believe that's Gene. I think after his comments, I
told you. Listen. My picks may have been wrong, but I know my hip hop.
Oh my goodness! Hey,
after your comments about Poirier's daughter last night, I know what you're doing. And last week on the show, you were witness protection. I understand.
Yes, I am MC Search. MC Search said that last week.
That's amazing. Yo, if you're feeling the show, you're feeling the vibe because it is happening. That's right, Sierra. We all thought that. Just pre-show, we were just like, what the hell happened to Gene? Pre-show, we had the best time, and we're gonna carry that over for the next X amount of minutes. Oh my goodness, the vibe is nice here. Don't forget to share, to like, to comment, to subscribe, do all that stuff that has become habitual in the social medias. If you're on YouTube or X or whatever the device is, whatever the media is, please make sure to jump in on the chat because we're going to have a lot of fun today. But you know what? Enough preamble. Let's get to it real quick and let's talk about the hat. Okay, real quick, this is what I'm doing today because the Euros start today, and if you're a soccer aficionado, let's just say that's the word. If you're a soccer fan, it is happening. If you're a footy fan, it is happening. It starts today with Scotland and Germany at 3 o'clock Eastern time. So I am representing the Dutch because I've always loved a black man in orange. The reason why I say that is because Edgar Steven Davids, this man was on the Dutch team when I started playing FIFA, and I was like, yo, this is a brother in goggles? He had huge goggles on. He is known for his goggles. Edgar Davids, look him up. He's a midfielder, and he was iconic to the game of soccer, especially as a Dutch man in the 90s. Check this out. This one is a very special one to me. Right here, orange in Dutch. All right, now you have the colors of the flag in case you couldn't figure that out. That's what's going on there. This is a nice, like, heathered gray material. Look at the details, though. Like the little stitch there with the flag, and then You got the line on the side. You got to have the line, and on the back again, you have that line tab just over the snap back. I don't wear them often, but when I do, you know they're going to be good. But look at the under visor. This is like a textured leather, kind of like basketball-esque. This one is wild, man. This is wild. I love it. Only problem with it is when you curve it, you'll see throughout the show, if you're watching, that it's like the curve will just kind of bend up the top over time. So I can only wear it for a limited time. So I'm going to make this one short. But let's get into it. It's time for the pop off, and let's talk about the NBA Finals. Boston leads the series 3-0. We have Game 4 tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and it is in Dallas. Woo! I'm going to go to Caleb first. It's been a long time, sir, so I know you have opinions on this. Give me your reactions of the whole series up to this point, and what do you think is going to happen tonight?
I have nothing to say. I've let everyone down. I have no idea what I'm talking about, obviously. So I'm gonna start with that.
Appreciate
Boston
you.
has proven to be virtually like the kryptonite for the Mavs, and you know that old adage, styles make fights. It's that thing, because they just can't do nothing, like nothing. You know what I mean? And I feel bad because I wanted to see Luka and Kyrie do it, but it's over. I feel worse for MC Search because he has to watch Tatum hold up that trophy and get 10 more commercials. And for the next year, they're going to be showing Tatum talking about winning the chip, right? So, you know, and he's about to get 600 million, not that much, but you know what I mean? He'll probably get 350, almost 400 million, 375, his re-up deal. It's crazy, but they're going to win. It doesn't even matter if they lose tonight. They may just say, chalk it up. We want to win it in Beantown, and they're going to, you know what I mean? But it's done. Like when I saw that Dallas, they tried the other night, Tuesday, and they were down 21 and they cut it to 2. Luka fouls out and they still can't win. You know what I mean? No, hey, I get it. CR, I get it. I'm not a Boston fan. I don't we know it's crazy. I don't mind Dallas as in like the Mavericks and them. I just don't like the Blue Star. I just don't like those guys. So as long as they lose, I don't care. But
well, that's a whole different conversation.
But the Boston of it is just like, damn, I picked the Mavs to win. Y'all know, I think we all did. And it's just we may not even get a game. They may win it tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Tatum and them may be like, listen, there's some nice ones out here in Dallas. We trying to get out here. You know what I mean? It's just like, let's go and send these boys home. I doubt it. I think they're going to try to put up the biggest fight tonight. Like, it's really hard, but there's no way it goes past 5. I don't think. I think if it goes back to Boston, Boston wins that next game by 20.
Yeah, this is a really tough situation to be in. I
mean, hell no. Hell no. I don't see it. Nope. I don't see it. They ain't got no Johnny Damon back there. You know what I mean? The beard Johnny, not the clean face Johnny, beard Johnny with the long hair.
Hilarious, Neil. Thanks for that. Listen, this is wild. Obviously, the statement and the sentiment is very plain. It's very plain. Like when the last game 3, if Boston won that game, the series is over. It was very like, but now when you see it, when you actually saw it happen, I'm assuming that you guys watched the game. The first quarter was wild. The energy was through the roof in Dallas. And I was watching with some friends, and I said out the gate, the problem about this is that Dallas can't keep it up. They could not keep that energy up, and they petered out after the first quarter. And you saw Boston keep their composure. Speaking of keeping composure, James Woody, it's your turn, sir.
It's sad, you know, Sunil. My heart goes out to you. You know, we did all, you know, we thought your team was gonna win. It's not looking like that. I will have to echo my colleagues, hell no, with your request. But here's the thing. I don't know if the Mavs showed up. You know, the Celtics, I think we all knew the Celtics were a fantastic team. And the upgrades that they made in the offseason were spectacular. When we made offseason predictions, prior to Morning Brew Sports, when we, were on the other channel, a couple of us said the Celtics were going to make it to the finals, right? Drew over Marcus Smart was a huge upgrade. He pretty much is Marcus Smart, but better at everything. He's better at being Marcus Smart than Marcus Smart. The defense, the playmaking, the shooting. Right?
Just ask Mr. Smart.
Drew, Derek White, Jalen, Jason, all of them, right? Porzingis had a great game before getting injured again. But the Mavs team that I saw, beating up the OKC, beating up Minnesota. I mean, Luka was throwing passes to the corner. It didn't matter who was catching it. PJ Washington, Derrick Jones Jr., Tim Hardaway Jr., Jaden Hardy, Jeff Hardy. Like, I don't even know. He was throwing it to whoever, and they were hitting threes. Now that same Mavs team is shooting 9.7% from three when Luka Doncic is not shooting the ball. Like, who is this? We're talking about, is that the real Gene? Where are the real Mavericks? Who showed up to the finals, bro? Because I think Bishop Sycamore showed up to the finals. Clearly, the Dallas Mavericks did not show up. None of them are hitting. It's Luka Doncic by himself and Kyrie. I said, don't tell me nothing about Kyrie. Where is Kyrie? Where is Kyrie?
He had 35 the last game.
Yeah. Yes, he did show up. He showed up the last game. So he played 1 out of 3 games. And, the Mavs are down 0-3.
Exactly.
Here we go. Gene.
Yeah. I think I would imagine everyone's got to agree. This is probably the most boring finals we've had in a while. It's horrible to watch.
Yeah.
It really is. And yeah, the one guy coming into the series that I wouldn't have had an issue with being prepared for the big time would have been Kyrie, and he didn't show up until game 3. It was too late. I don't think this goes back to Boston. I see a team in game 3 that gave them their best shot.
Yep.
And Boston kind of just laughed it off and just took back the game twice. A huge first quarter, and then coming back in the game, bringing it down to 2. They gave him 2 huge shots. Dallas did. And you know how disheartening it is when you do that and you still can't come through with the victory? I really feel like their heart was taken from them in game 3, and I think they're done. I think it's going to be a blowout tonight. I feel like all that pride they were playing with, all playoff series, all playoff postseason. I feel like all their heart was drained from them in game 3. Kind of like if any of us have seen the Bronx Tale, when the bikers are dousing the bar with liquor and the guy says, "Now you can't leave," and you just see the bikers look like, what? Like I feel like that's the Dallas Mavericks face after they blew that big run to bring it within 2.
No.
I think it's done.
No, it's Cat Williams in Friday After Next when he's in the bathroom with Damon, and Damon snatched him up. He said, "Fresh Prince on the line," and he said, "I am a boy, Damon. You are not in prison anymore."
but yeah,
it's Gene. No, I agree. It's a wrap. And one, where's Kyrie? Listen, I love Kyrie, but I ain't never seen a man win a title with tassels and a feather earring. I ain't never seen it. You know what I'm saying? I think something's missing. I don't know what's going on, but something ain't clicking. And I know what it is. Boston is better than what I wanted to give them credit for. That's what it is. And Jaylen Brown, balling.
We'll get there.
Oh, sorry, but yeah. I'm like, but Gene, it's just like they just everywhere. It was like Chris Tucker in Rush Hour when he was in the middle of all them dudes, and he was like, "Which one of y'all kicked me?" Because everybody's around, you don't know. That's what it's like. That's what it's like.
That's the best one, yeah.
It's like it's just sad, but I agree, and I admit I was wrong. You know what I mean? But damn, I thought they would get 1 in Boston. You know what I mean? I thought it would go down to 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Damn.
Listen, man, who knew? It felt like and Woody, you nailed it. Like which Mavericks team decided to show up? Because it's obviously not the one that took them all the way, took them this far.
Yeah.
Because like honestly,
Yeah. That's real.
Caleb, I thought they were going to split, man. I really thought they were going to split in Boston, and I thought that would have really been a check for Boston. But Boston, like they checked themselves before game one. We're like, yo, we're doing this. And on top of that, listen, give Porzingis his flowers. Like, I think that's, to be honest with you, I think that is the moment. There's certain moments in movies or in TV where it could be like understated, where it's like a huge action and you don't realize how that momentum is going to carry on.
The reverberation.
Yeah, thank you. All of a sudden, he's not there game one. They do great game one. But then he comes back game two. Sure, the buzz was there. But when you saw him play, the guy could throw the ball up backwards. I mean, is he black at heart? He might be. But backwards, and he is like in a different state, and it was going to go in. Like he just was magic, and all they needed was that. They just needed to, you know what, let's play for Porzingis, man. Let's play for the team, and they're just doing it.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's crazy to miss Mrs. Nick Nash on here. She said something. She said it's like a crybaby show. Everybody's crying for fouls. That one. She is so right because, man, every time somebody goes up, all you see is,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's this new league where you're not supposed to get touched. So when you do, you're like, it's like so egregious, right? Mm-hmm. So they overplay trying to sell. And what happens is when the refs don't call it, it takes you out the play. Because now you got to get up and try to run and catch dudes that already got
gone
5-10 yards on you. And you know, a basketball court, I don't know how many yards it is, but it ain't that much, right? Yeah. So they're already down and they're scoring, getting easy baskets. Another thing is this defense. Nobody plays it anymore. Nope. You know how open the middle, the paint is? Like anybody, you could just, and you know what, this is what really kills me, y'all. When I see the dudes drive to the rack, get near the basket, and pass it back out. Like, don't go for a layup. Don't take the short, like literally looking to pass it. It is amazing. And the middle is just wide open. Like, you could drive a car down the middle and lay it up because nobody's there. It's not the 3-second rule because they've had that since the 90s. It ain't that. It is the way that the game has been constructed. You got big men that want to shoot threes. They all think they Steph Curry. Steph Curry, that ruined the game of basketball. Steph Curry and Caitlin Clark have ruined the game of basketball because all everybody want to do is shoot a three. You got people 7'10" talking about you know what I'm saying? It's just it's ridiculous. And yeah, man. And the crybaby fouls is I agree. It's too much. It's
go ahead, Gene.
I was just saying it's one of the things that with Luka I feel is probably the worst part of his game is the crybabying over fouls.
Definitely.
And again, I always feel like this. You don't need to be talented to play good defense. You just got to hustle and play hard. You got to be talented to be a good ball handler. You got to be talented to shoot. You got to be talented to pass. As far as defense, it's just hustle hard and stay in front of your man. Mm-hmm. To me, you know what I'm saying? So when I see someone like Luka not be able to wear, if he could add defense to his game, I guess you could say this about a lot of players in the league. If they would add defense to their game, they would be the best player in the league. And he's just one of those guys where if you could add defense to his game, he would be one of the best players. He's already one of the best. He would be the best player in the league.
His lateral movement. It's just lateral movement.
Yeah.
It's hard to move like that. And I agree with you, Gene. I would just say it's a little bit more than just hustle. That's a big part of course, but it's also anticipation. Yeah. Like anticipating where he's going next so you could tip the ball or get the block, knowing that it's a pump fake. So you hold you don't go up yet. You go, you know what I mean? It's like the way Scotty would play, Michael would play it, Kobe would play it. Like people, even LeBron. LeBron plays defense in the sense where like he mastered the chase down block.
The instinct,
you know what I mean? Huh?
It's instinctual.
Yeah. So there's this thing like the way Drew Holiday plays it. He gets it. Even Derek White to a degree. Jaylen Brown. You know what I mean? Like they get it. Luka has not been that, and I think it's also part of the European style of ball that it was more offensive driven as opposed to defensive. You know what I mean? For the most part. you know. So I don't think, meaning I don't think his foundation is based in defense as like it would have been more so if he was in the States.
But what you were saying about the crybabying also is a factor. Like no one in this league cries more than Luka Doncic.
Exactly.
If I'm the CEO of Huggies or Pampers, you best believe I'm calling that man to get his face on that box.
Funny.
So he's not playing defense. He's getting back. He's crying to the ref. The amount of times that his team is playing 4-on-5, I feel like they practice that. They have to practice. Kid is like, oh, we got to practice because Luka's not coming back to play defense.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so true, man. And it's just like the way that I was taught to play ball was that you can rest on offense. That was what one of the coaches told me, was like, you can rest on offense. My game was purely defensive. Steals, like getting the fouls, like rest on offense. You have to put in the work, right? So that's just the way.
You'll average 2 points and 6 fouls a game.
Yeah. But I also had like 10 steals and like, you know,
no, I get it. I'm just messing with you.
20 trash talks to the ref, you know what I mean?
But that's real though.
But yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, the highest scoring game I probably ever had was 15. It doesn't matter. Listen, let's talk about, and Caleb, you mentioned it earlier. I don't want to jump the gun too much, but I want to talk about who should be the finals MVP. We're getting close to the end of the show here. So, I mean, literally, if it's not tonight, it's got to be the next one based on the way the Celtics are playing. Gene, let's talk to you first. Who do you think finals MVP?
I think it's blatantly obvious, and thank God it's blatantly obvious. Thank God it's not Tatum, because I would really hear it from everybody if it was Tatum. But it's Jaylen Brown, without a doubt, it's Jaylen Brown. I know someone was trying to tell me the other day that their average on points for the series wasn't that much more on Brown's side. But my thing is, Brown has been the leader of this team through the first 3 games of the series. I see no reason why, if he doesn't get it, it's because the league is trying to anoint Tatum. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. And then it's more like just, home cooking that they gave it to Tatum. Tatum doesn't deserve it. And again, that's not me being a Tatum disliker. I wouldn't say hater, but a disliker. But it is me recognizing that I hate the Celtics. The only team I hate more than the Celtics are the Heat. But I do recognize that Jaylen Brown is my favorite player on that Celtics team, because I think he's the most lethal on that team. He plays the hardest with the most grind, and I think he deserves it.
See, that the real Gene would have just said hater. So that's how I know this is an imposter. The real Gene would have said hater. This one's like disliker with all political and political and all nice and stuff. Woody. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fake Gene said it. Nail on the head. Usually I'm the first one to call out, oh man, you just hating. Let's stop. But it's everything he said is factual. If they give it to Tatum, it is the anointing. I mean, look at how much the media responded when Jason Kidd called Jaylen Brown the best player on the Celtics. That was everywhere. Everyone was like, oh, can you believe Jason Kidd? Like, as if he said that he thought Al Horford was the best. Like, Jaylen Brown is an elite player on almost half the teams in the league. He would be the best player on that team. Jaylen Brown is a tremendous talent. But it's, I don't know, this media obsession with Jason Tatum. That's kind of crazy. But if Andre Iguodala can win when the Warriors won all the way back then you gotta, on merit alone, give it to Jaylen Brown, who not only has done work scoring, but leading the team, like Gene said, defending Kyrie, shutting him down. I mean, I would probably put Drew Holiday in the second, but like Jaylen Brown or Drew Holiday, and then maybe Jason Tatum.
Oh, amazing. Caleb, do we got a sweep? What do you think?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's Brown. Like hands down, is Jaylen Brown from the underground. Get down. But yeah, I think he is. I think he clearly has it. There won't be anything. Unfortunately, Tatum will still get more shine because it's the way our world is designed, right? It's Tatum is more aesthetically pleasing, and you can take that how you want, but you know exactly what I mean. And so he's going to continue to get it, and all that ring is going to do is help him. Brown will get what he deserves. Tatum will get a bigger contract, more money, more, like, it's just, it is what it is. But Brown can know that he's a real dog and he really is a baller and he deserves it and he should get that. And I got to give a quick apology to Missoula. I sincerely apologize for saying Jason Kidd was going to coach circles around you, and because you was young, and Jason Kidd has played the game, and Jason Kidd has been to championships, and he knows what it takes to win, and he knows players, and I was completely wrong. None of that means anything, apparently. So Missoula, shots to you, brother, and keep doing what you're doing, man.
I'm going to make it an absolute sweep, an absolute and certain sweep, and say for sure it's Jaylen Brown. Just watching him on the court has been exciting. Sure, man, when Tatum gets it, I'm great, but just Jaylen, but there's something about that young man who's just been destroying, and it's been fantastic to watch. His interviews, he's super humble, and he's young, he's just ready to, wants to win one, man. He just wants to win. Genuine. So I had actually Drew Holiday at 3. Tatum I had at 2, only because you're right. The media and the NBA just want to have that baby face. They just want to have him there for some reason. I don't get it. But honorable mention for me goes to Kristaps Porzingis, because I mean the guy didn't play much, but he made such a huge impact. It is wild. Now we're going to move right along. We're going to keep it in the NBA. We're going to talk about your boy, Isaiah Hartenstein. Is he headed to OKC for 20+ mil per year? Oh, my goodness. How are we feeling about that? Let's go to Woody first.
I love Isaiah. Literally, some guy, he's someone who you can argue is the heart and soul of the Knicks team, especially this playoff run. Right, we've seen guys drop off like flies, but one of the few constants, no matter what, was Hartenstein out there. Rebound. I mean, the man got like 20 rebounds a couple of games, assists, the floater. He was literally doing it all. So to lose him would be a tough loss, a tough pill to swallow. But if I'm Isaiah Hartenstein, you talking about 20+ mil. I mean, this is an easy choice if I'm him. This is what are you talking about? 20+ mil in OKC. For OKC, I think Isaiah is exactly what they needed. They are a really, really good team. Whole bunch of young premium talent that will grow and mature together, just like the original OKC with Durant and Harden and Westbrook. Now they got SGA, they got Chet, they got Jalen Williams. But what did they miss? They were missing that man in the middle. They had nobody. They were so small, like in the paint, right? They had who was it? Jonas Valanciunas was eating them up. Barbecue chicken in the play-in. Isaiah Hartenstein will completely nullify all of that. He is exactly what they need to reach the next level. So it is a perfect fit, like a glove. All right, like a glove. I won't say anything else about that analogy.
Perfect.
And OKC fit. But as a Knicks fan, I mean, if there's anything we can do, if we can have a cookout, some sort of, I don't know, food drive, something, I don't want to lose that man. But, it seems like a good fit for him.
Gene, this offers a very quick fix for the Thunder if this happens, because they need that size. Woody already said they need the rebounding. They need these things from this young man. What do you think?
He also brings a sense of toughness to that team too, right? Like a backbone. I don't want to see him leave the Knicks. I know that's like selfish, because I think what the Knicks can offer him. I think what were they saying they were going to offer him, 16 a year over 4. Is that what it was? Who do you
think so? 14, yeah, no more. Like that was like where they were maxing.
Yeah, and it's because they got other things to pay for too. They want to bring in another star, and they don't. To me, he's the starting center. I loved Mitchell Robinson, but the guy never stays healthy. I feel like you gotta. I be honest with you, I'd rather try to trade. And I know this is gonna be an unpopular opinion with a lot of Knicks fans. A lot of Knicks fans love Mitchell Robinson. I do too, but he's always hurt. I would try to trade him and get a piece for him. Why the league's still in love with him, and I would try to make Hartenstein. I mean, he was the starting center at the end of the season anyway, but he would be my starting center going forward. Where I would say, okay, let me pay him $20 million. We're moving off the Mitchell Robinson contract, and we're going to use some of that money to help reinvest into Hartenstein. That's what I would do.
Nice. Caleb, what do you think, man? I mean, could this be it? Could Hartenstein go over to OKC? Could OKC excel? Could they jump the? Could they be something more next season?
Yeah, I agree with Gene as far as the toughness is concerned, because the West is a little bit more rough. It looks like there's more trees to deal with out there. Like there's just big guys that, like, Minnesota's huge. Like they got Twin Towers down there. Then you got Jokic and them in Denver. And, you know, the Lakers, you still got them. They're, you know, it's like the West is a little raw. So I think OKC needs a little toughness, and toughness doesn't always necessarily need to translate onto the court and like physical. It's a mentality. It's a spiritual thing. It's what gets into you. If you think somebody's tough, you play differently because you feel like somebody's got your back. It's like having that enforcer with Charles Oakley gave to Michael Jordan when he was first in his career. And then when he translated that to the Knicks and all of that, it's that you want those kinds of things. Dennis Rodman had it. Even though he wasn't big, people just thought he was so weird. They didn't want him to be around, like they was nervous. You know what I mean? That he would do that. So I think it's going to be a big thing for OKC because it's kind of what they missing. Because I like Chet. Like, I'm a Chet Holmgren fan. I love his personality. Like, I dig him. But he's 7 foot and weighs 85 pounds. You know what I mean? Of course, I'm exaggerating, but you get my point. The way he looks, it's like no muscle, just skin and bone. You know what I mean? And that you're gonna get pushed out the way down there in the West. That's why he could be that big. And Rudy's talking about a man in the middle. Like, you see what I mean? Like, because he don't have that. Even though I know that's not his exact position, it doesn't matter. Somebody at 7'1", you're moving them into the middle. Like, hey, we need it. He don't have it. So it's a transition that I think is needed for that team to do better in the West. Because I think if they would have played the Lakers, they would have lost in the first round. They wouldn't even have went to the second round. I think the Lakers, the last year team of the Lakers, beats that OKC team. I really do. Maybe not this next coming season, but last year, absolutely. Well, this season, it's not over yet. So you know what I mean.
And the West is, I'm sorry, I just want to say one thing to piggyback off Caleb. West is only going to get better because San Antonio is coming, bro.
Yeah.
Like with Wimbyana, and I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs this year, but maybe 2 years away. They got what two picks in the top 8 this year.
Yeah.
They're gonna add some more weapons this year. San Antonio is gonna be back on, is coming. So another reason to make sure that you get some toughness up there. So I get why they'd want them. I just don't want them to go.
Yeah, of course.
I think you're right. I do think that San Antonio and the whole team, the whole organization knows that this year it wasn't like a toss away. We're not throwing this season away. It was like, listen, we gotta learn and we gotta figure out how we're gonna use Wemby and then what we can bring to help Wemby. Like, we all knew it. Like, everybody knew it. It was hard to watch because there was many highlights or lowlights of players not passing to Wemby when he's wide open or when he's got a mismatch. It is almost ridiculous. That's a different conversation for a different day. But I think, Gene, to your point, there's something to be said, not only for a big man like Wemby or a team that's coming up in the West, but OKC is literally a player away from doing some more damage and really excelling. And Caleb, you nailed it, man. I think it is that toughness. There's that thing about OKC is just too clean. They're just too they're too quiet and they just kind of get the job done and then they kind of peter out. But now if you add a little something, somebody that has a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, a little bit of roughness to them, it's going to trickle down and add to the rest of the team. We've seen it time and time again with those great teams. There's always been that one dude, that enforcer or whoever that is, right?
Yeah, Draymond.
Yeah, Draymond. He's a quintessential for sure for this era anyway. Listen, we're gonna move on to national teams. We're gonna talk about your U.S. national women's team, the women's basketball team. They have omitted Caitlin Clark. We all know this. This has been news from time. This is still news. Caitlin Clark is news. She did not make the United States women's Olympic team, which I think is one of the hardest teams to make in the world. There's many arguments to support that. But Caleb, let's talk to you first and foremost. What do you think about Caitlin being omitted from the USA team?
You know what? It's been a crazy debate here for weeks. It's been all over First Take. Stephen A. going at it with all the female reporters.
Yeah.
To Andrea Carter, to
Wild.
Kennedy, all of them. And I understand both sides of it. The idea is marketing value to help bring more eyeballs and things to the league. And then there's the whole basketball point, right? And I know picks have been given to people because of their status and what is needed, like the Christian Laettner pick in '92 is what has been like the referring to. They're like, they didn't need him at all, but he was the white guy that was balling in college, and it was like he had a great following, so that was like a big thing. And I understand that for Caitlin, but I also agree with, if they don't care about that, because the WNBA is not the women's national team, meaning it doesn't matter. The WNBA is selling crazy. Caitlin is doing that anyway. Putting her on the national team doesn't really add anything, because if they still gonna do it anyway, if she's the draw, they're gonna still be there. So I understand that, and I think, damn, but
in all caps too. In all caps.
But I'll just say that I think that you're right when you say she didn't earn it. If she didn't make the team, she didn't make the team. And I don't think Caitlin, who as a person wants to be on a team, if she knows she didn't make it, if she's only getting it because of her status, I don't think she's that person. I really don't. I haven't seen any sort of prima donna, any sort of entitlement coming from her at all, right? So I think she would want to make it on her own merit, and she didn't. Cool. She gonna be on the next one? Absolutely, without question. So it don't even really matter. You know what I mean? But was it a snub? No, because obviously those other women are better and more deserving. And it looks that way. I'm watching Caitlin play. She's not shutting the league down. She not bought, like they compared her to Larry Bird. She ain't had no rookie season like no Larry Bird did. You know what I'm saying? Not at all. Larry Bird ain't never had 7 points and 7 turnovers. Okay? And 3 for 11 from the field. Ever. And let alone in his rookie season, right? And he was playing at a time where it was the most physical NBA league you could have, and he's playing against all the brothers, right? He earned their respect. That's what she got to do. So I don't think it was the snub. I think they made the decision that was best for their team. And, you know, hopefully they go on and win the gold, and Caitlin's going to be fine. She done made more money than everybody that's ever played in the WNBA combined already. You know what I mean?
Since 1996, the women's team has won a gold at the Olympics. 96, 2000, 04, 08, 12, 16, and 20. I think they're going to be just fine if you even look at the future. If you look at the ladies that were drafted this season, and we know those ones are going to be coming up, and we know those ones are going to play on the USA roster, I think they'll be okay. Gene, what are your thoughts?
I know we talked a little bit about last week. I think if she was, and I know Caleb was kind of was talking about this with what's his name, or Duke. You just said his name. I'm blanking out already.
Christian Laettner.
If she wasn't white, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Or it would be such a like a you know, maybe once brought up on one show, and it would have been like a little snub, like a little flub, nothing crazy. That's the only reason why we're talking about it, which is sad in itself. But yeah, you know what? I was flipping through, I don't know if it was Instagram or TikTok or whatever. It was one of those things. And I saw someone comparing her stats for the season to Kelsey Plum's and a bunch of other, you know, Diana Taurasi's and just a couple other people. And she was like, oh, well, they're so close. Why wouldn't Diana Taurasi has been on this team for years. Why would she? It would be a snub if she just got kicked off all of a sudden for a rookie that's not playing better than her, but maybe they're on like almost on the same level as far as stats. Same thing with Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum's been in this league. Kelsey Plum's been on the team. Why should she get snubbed for someone that's kind of playing around the same level? You got to wait your turn. Like Caleb said, she'll be on it next time, you know, and hopefully we'll get some of these other young bucks on this. I guess bucks would be guys, but you know what I mean? Some of these other young women on the team next time, like, you know. So, White, are you laughing at me?
It's hilarious.
Yeah. Some of these young does, maybe. Yeah.
Young does.
Yeah.
Young does. But you get what I'm saying.
We do.
So that's my thing is, I think it's and again, I haven't seen her complain about it like as Caleb said.
No, she hasn't.
But you know what? Like I don't think she's done anything to warrant her being on it, other than the fact that she is, that she's been a name and whatnot. Like Team USA doesn't need it for the money. The WNBA needs it maybe to boost it up, but Team USA doesn't. Like you just said, Nigel, they've never not won gold since '96. So anyone that has a problem with it, relax, calm down. It's a handful of games. At the end of the day, who really cares? Well, by next time around when she's on it, no one. You think any more people are going to go watch the next time around because she's on the team? No, I think you're going to get the same amount of people that normally would watch the Olympics. So I don't think it's anything to really worry about. And it's a shame that we are making it an issue.
Yeah, Angel Reese didn't make it. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Well, devil's advocate. I mean, Caitlin's is a draw, so I do think she would impact the Olympic viewership. I actually don't know how you could argue against that. Like she has been 33% of the revenue of the WNBA. They were playing at the local YMCA, and now she's in the league, and they have to change stadiums.
They coming for you, Woody. They coming for you.
It's gonna be weird when Woody's not here next week, but continue.
Well, hey, maybe I'll just come. I'll be bald. Like I'll shave. I'll just be the.
I like it. I like it.
No, I mean, so she's definitely made an impact financially. Does she deserve to be on the team? I will agree with the sentiment. Like if we're talking about basketball, and Caleb broke it down very nicely. There's a marketing versus a basketball. Basketball wise, no. You know what? Sierra typed it in all caps. Let me say it in all caps. She did not earn it. All caps, no cap. That's what I would say about Caitlin basketball wise. But if you are talking about growing the game, we revere that dream team. Yes, they were spectacular. It was the greatest assembly of talent, of that time. Besides Christian Laettner, but everybody else was great. But what did that do for the game of basketball? It created these Luka Doncic's and these Nikola Jokic's because it brought the basketball overseas. If you're trying to create the next, I guess Nicole already sounds kind of feminist. But you're trying to create the Ludmillas out there, right, who are about to take over the WNBA. That's how you do it. You put Taylor Clark on that stage because she's exciting. She's a draw. She will increase viewership. But basketball-wise, I'm going to have to agree. She got to sit out this time. Like Caleb said, just last night, 7 points, 7 turnovers. Yeah, we good on that for now. We good on that. Keep developing, working on your game, and we'll see you in 4 years, right? The Olympics.
I'm going to summarize exactly what all 3 and now 4 of us have said, especially the 3 of you. Caitlin Clark is the most popular basketball player on the planet.
Without question.
But she is not one of the best 12 that America has to offer to send to the Olympics. It's kind of plain and simple. That's what you do. You send your best to compete against the best in the world. She's just not ready yet. She's just not there. All there is to it. But I want to talk about the run out of our NBA segment. And for all those that have been with us from the start, thank you for being here. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Jump into the chat. Let's talk about, use all caps, whatever you want to do. But let's talk about Dan Hurley. This has got to be a short one, fellas, because we all know what's up. We know what's up because we all called it. He rejects the Lakers' $70 million contract offer. Let me get those reactions. Woo! Let's start with you, Woody.
Beautiful day. We talked about the family, the legacy. Didn't want to put it in the shadow. It is not in the shadow. It is in the light. All right. He said, hey, Lakers, Genie Bus, you can take that contract, put it where the sun don't shine, because this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine.
Yeah.
Let it shine. Let it shine.
That's right. All in my home. That's right. That's right. Nigel, you're muted.
Gene, thank you so much. Gene, I know you're trying to sing along with Woody there, and you just missed it. So why don't you sing us your praises why Hurley stayed with UConn?
I'm not going to sing a song like Woody just did, but I will say this. I thought for sure, and we actually had our group text. I think me and Caleb both even said, I think he's
I was wrong again.
And
I'm wrong.
But listen, I'm happy I was wrong, because I really thought he put so much attention to it. He's going out to LA. He's going to meet them. Then he's going to wait over the weekend. I feel like when you hear those things happen, the guy, whoever the whoever it is, whether it's the player or the coach or whoever it is always going to end up going. It just seemed like everything was kind of falling into place. If I was an LA Laker fan and not a college basketball fan, I would have thought for sure we had him, for sure. And I'm so glad that he didn't go for all the reasons I mentioned last week about how important I think he is to college basketball, how much better he is for college basketball. I'm just glad that he's not going. And I'm glad I was wrong thinking that he might. And I'm excited to see what he brings to are they going to three-peat next year? We'll see. But even if they don't three-peat next year, he's got a long career ahead of him, hopefully for the whole time in UConn.
There you go. You know what? I think some of the panelists from other sports networks should really, they should take some tips from us. Let's just apologize for being wrong and move on, because you two have been wrong a lot in the last couple of weeks. So it's nice that we're just admitting it and let call a spade a spade.
Over the past 2 weeks, man, it's been crazy.
Caleb, give us your opinions on the reaction of Dan Hurley just staying home, staying at UConn.
Well, you know what? I really think it came down to money, right? I think the Lakers did that to themselves. I actually heard a conspiracy theory that they did that all on purpose to make it look like they were going after a guy that they had no intention on really trying to get, because they made him the 6th highest paid coach in the NBA. With all the pomp and circumstance, you offer him $11 million when the top coaches get 17.
I heard
right?
that too. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then as soon as he says no, which you wanted him to, so somebody with the number of 23 could get the guy who they have a podcast with, who he sits there and breaks down plays with, and then asks the man to say what you would do. And he talks about what he would do in these situations, so he could display his basketball IQ along with the star of the team, who would be very happy if this guy was there calling plays because I agree, right? And all of a sudden, you hear that very guy is getting back in to meet with Rob Pelinka and the Lakers. I think it's later today, right? Now, that's a conspiracy theory because we don't know, but it makes perfect sense, because now it doesn't look like you just went right to him and did the thing. So that way you protect the star. Oh, we went for Dan Hurley. He said no. Dan was like, you didn't want me. You offered me $11 million. You know what I mean? He's like, no, you didn't want me. My boy in Detroit makes more than that, and Detroit won 10 games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you want me to come to a premier team. It's the same thing Dallas does. That's why the best coaches don't coach for the Cowboys, because the team is bigger than you. You got to do what the team says. That's what happened. They didn't want to pay Dan, so they knew he was going to say no. They also said, oh, and you picking up the kid.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah,
like what? Yeah, and you're picking up the kid. You know what I mean? It's like Eddie's joke when he goes to see after the movie Rocky comes out and the Italian dude is waiting there. He says, "You hear what I said, Mooly? Pay for my candy."
Shout out to Sunil in the chat.
What I mean? Yeah. It's that. So I think so when I heard that, it gave it a lot of credence. Is it true? I have no idea. I don't know. LeBron, I don't know any of that, but that would make sense to protect your image and get what you want all at the same time. And you get to pay him. You think he wouldn't take 10 or 11 million? Of course. And he would be overpaid because he's never coached professionally. Right? Like, it's perfect. And no knock against JJ. He's brilliant. Talking the game and actually doing it when it needs to are two completely different things. So I'm not saying he can't be great. I said Jason Kidd would coach circles around Missoula, and I was completely wrong. Okay, so Reddick could be the next Phil Jackson and Red Auerbach all into one. You know what I'm saying? But he may not be. And what I'm saying is, I think this was a move to put him in that position so your star player stays, who has a chance to opt out this coming season This is how you make sure he doesn't.
Mhm.
So, and someone would argue in the NBA, star players such as him have that kind of power. I know a dude with a beard who said, I don't want to be here. And within 2 weeks, he was gone. And then he got there and said, I don't want to be here either. And within a month, he was gone. And then he got there. It was like, bump y'all. I want to go to LA. And he was there. So the NBA players have the most power out of all athletes. And that guy absolutely has the power to get what he wants done. He just don't want to look bad when he do it.
Or take the blame if it doesn't work.
That's right. That's more so than anything, Gene. You hit that right on the head. Yes. Or get blamed when it doesn't go right.
Nobody wants to take the blame. You know what? We're moving on. You want to know why? Because we are about 2 months away-ish from the football season, baby. The NFL is right around the corner. This is where friendships are made, friendships thrive, but also friendships are splintered through fantasy football. But we won't get there yet. We will talk about the holdouts. Now, we got a bunch of receivers that are holding out, one in particular, but will any receivers hold out will any of the receivers that are holding out get traded during this offseason? Let's go to Gene.
Yeah. It just seems like there's a lot of holdouts wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
Now, it's late in the game for a trade. I get it. But I'll be surprised. Like, I feel like the 49ers won't, because I feel like they kind of stand on what they want to do and they don't really stray from what they want to do every time, it seems like. Will he get the contract? I don't know, but I think that they're not going to stray from it. I think T. Higgins might get traded. I think if there's one, I would probably say T. Higgins is the best option to be traded. Because you're gonna need some of that money to pay other players as well. I think you need to start kind of looking towards the next part of the future with them. And I think it's gonna be T. Higgins. He seems to not have any interest in wanting to come in for any less than he thinks he's worth, and I don't blame him for that. They got Jamar Chase showed up. I don't think T. Higgins will show up, and I think it's going to be who blinks first. And I think they might say, let's see what we can get for this guy. I'm not saying it's going to happen before the season ends. It might happen at the deadline. Before the season starts, but it might happen at the deadline. But I think he's the leading candidate for a trade.
Ooh, Woody, what do you got? Who do you got?
I think our producer, the man behind the scenes, got me thinking. I think he's right. I actually think it is Brandon Ayuk on the 49ers. When you look at the other players that want to get paid, let's go with the Cowboys. Without CD, what is that team? What is that offense without CD? All right, they got Zeke back. Oh, okay.
Stop the press.
Zeke, it looks like Zeke and I are on the same diet. I don't know. All right. T. Higgins, I think he is a very big piece. The Bengals are a team where just a couple of years ago, the mayor were talking about, we're going to take a paternity test for Joe Burrow and, Mahomes, being his dad, blah, blah. And Patrick has done nothing but win Super Bowl since that moment. And the Bengals, is their window? What's their window look like? They need T. Higgins to keep that window open. The 49ers, with the money, money talks. And they just paid the best running back in football, Christian McCaffrey, again, right? Kittle has his money. Debo got his money. If they let Ayuk, or if they trade Ayuk, obviously that's a hit because Ayuk is one of the better receivers in football. But you still look at that locker room, damn, they got a pretty good team. So I think they are the ones that can eat that trade the best. So just inherently, I think that makes it the most likely. Like, I really can't, like Jerry Jones, he would have to have some sort of level of dementia to just trade CD like how he did Amari Cooper. back then, and that was like for a 6th round. It was one of the worst trades I ever seen. But they had a young CD, so he was probably like, oh, out goes one, in comes the next. There's none of that this time around. So I think he's getting kept. I think T's getting kept. I think Ayuk is the one to go. Sorry, Sierra, because 49ers fan, it's a tough situation.
Sarah says Ayuk is killing me right now. He's a great number 2 receiver, but we just extended CMC, who is also the cover of Caleb's favorite game on any console, Madden 2025. Yeah, I was going to say 2026, 2025. It's going to be wild. And he can't afford to have Ayuk more than the 26 mil we just offered. Facts on facts on fact. Caleb, add some facts to this.
Go ahead, Gene. Gene wants to.
Well, I just want to say, she's wrong on one point right there.
What's that?
I think Ayuk is the best receiver on that team.
Okay.
I'm not taking anything from Debo at all. He's a great talent, but he gets hurt more often because what do? They run him out of the backfield. They do other things with him, which causes him to get hurt. But I think if you're talking about wide receiver, pound for pound, Ayuk is a better receiver. I'd rather, that's my opinion.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I get what you were saying, and I was saying he was the number 1 receiver because they use Debo so much.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something different. Oh my God, dude! Like I've never seen a receiver do what he's like Bo Jackson as a receiver. Like, and I'm not talking about running out the backfield. I'm talking literally 5 steps, get the ball, and run 90 yards. Like, and he's not super fast. It's like a weird speed. He's fast, but he don't look like it.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody can catch him, and they can't get him down. Remember that game he played against us? I mean, when I say us, I'm talking about Philly. Do you remember the 5-yard slant? And it was like nobody could tackle this dude. And I know we had problems tackling, but it was like, damn, like how he was just like the cuts and the moves. And Ayuk is dope. And he's caught, and he gets those long ones because he's faster and he's taller. But that's why Debo got his money first. You know what I mean? But I do agree. I think Ayuk is the number 1 receiver because Debo is a slash. Remember how they used to do Cordell Stewart that way? Pittsburgh Steelers fans remember that dude, right? They called him Slash because he did so many things. They didn't want to give him QB title because he running back, quarterback, receiver, cornerback, water boy,
tight end,
everything.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
It was crazy.
Operations manager, everything.
Exactly. But so there's that. But I have to agree with Woody with this one. I think it would be Ayuk because I don't think they let T. Higgins go because Jamar Chase can't do it on his own. Like Jamar Chase is ridiculously dope. But what makes him dope is Higgins over there. So it forces the team, the defense to play both because they're both at a high level. It's what Frisco gets with Ayuk and Debo. You can't forget it. CD is by himself. It's CD and that tight end. And you got Brandon Cooks that could stretch the field because he's fast, but you're not really worried about Brandon. You know what I mean? CD Lamb is that guy. You have to. So I don't think they could let him go. And I think if the Bengals let Higgins go, Jamar Chase goes down because teams can really key in on him way more. You know what I mean? And I think that would cause an issue. Like you need that 1-2 punch. So I would say that. And I think the holdouts are simply because look at all the money that's going out.
Mm-hmm.
Like they know teams are paying and they know they have to. I think football players are starting to understand their power now. Like they're getting way more power than what they've ever had. Because football was always like, take it or leave it. Get out, next man up. But it ain't like that no more. It ain't just next man up. Because people that thought that weren't relevant no more. My man Belichick. Oh, okay, you old. Get out of here, Tom. Tom said, cool, I'll go to Tampa, win a Super Bowl, and you will lose. The next, he gave him the ceiling. Until you do right by me. Everything you do.
Everybody see those balloons that popped up because Caleb did that move? Okay, great.
What's going on?
Yeah. Okay, great. So this is what's going to happen now because the next three topics are very specific, I feel, to a certain party in here. So what we're going to do is the next topic, I'm going to ask only Gene and Woody. The topic after that, I'm only going to ask Caleb. And then the last one is going to be all me, baby. So we're going to hit it off. And the first one is going to be talking about, did the Jets make a mistake? Trading for a guy who wants the max deal. Did they make a mistake trading for Reddick? Gene, what do you think?
No. Listen, maybe that they didn't do their due diligence to find out what he wanted, that he wouldn't show up. Maybe I can't imagine that they didn't, but it sounds like they didn't. So I'd say I blame them for that. But listen, pay the guy. He's worth it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he's, I think 19th right now at his position. Pay the man. You thought he'd be, you wanted him for a reason. Pay him. I have no problem with it, what he's doing. I mean, listen, I wish it wasn't my team in that sense, but I think he's worth it. I was excited for them to get him. It lessened the blow of losing Huff because I feel like, all right, well, this guy's is as good as Huff, if not better. He's got a proven track record. I was excited for the move, but you got to pay him. Like he only had 1 year. Like, pay him. I don't blame him at all for wanting his money, but I do blame him. The Jets didn't look into it a little bit before they traded for him. Shame on you guys. Shame on Joe Douglas. You got to turn over every stone. I would like to see them sign him long term though, because I think they should.
Now, if Reddick plays more than 67.5 of the Jet snaps this year and has 10 or more sacks, the Eagles will net a second rounder in 2026. A lot of stats, a lot of figures here. Woody, give us our thoughts. Did the Jets make a mistake?
They might have. And Gene already said what part one of it is. If they did not know that Hassan needed an extension, then they made a mistake. It's almost inexcusable, the level of mistake that they made. If they did know and still made the deal, that's also kind of a mistake. Gene said that, we let Huff go. Hassan is, at the same or if not better. Let me say that Hassan Reddick is clearly much better than Bryce Huff. Like he is one of the best sack getters in the league, and he wants to be paid as such. That is extremely fair. If my name was James Reddick, his cousin or his brother or whoever, I would be saying, pay this man. The problem with that is that position, you pay him what he is worth, what he has earned through his play on the field is $30 million a year. $30 million. The New York Jets cannot pay that contract. I'm sorry. They cannot. Gene, you're a Jets fan. Yep. I think you would like to have Sauce Gardner as a Jet beyond forever.
Forever. He's my favorite Jet.
Wow. What about Garrett Wilson or Breece Hall?
Well, I mean, running backs are a dime a dozen. So I'm just saying, by the time we get ready to give him a new contract,
it's next year. Next year. We're talking about next year.
Yeah, you're right, actually.
Next year. But you would rather give a 30-year-old man some sort of long-term extension, $30 million a year.
Listen, it doesn't matter if you can't rush the quarterback this year and you lost one of your best guys. None of it matters.
So that's where the mistake was not. They could have.
And my question is this:
$17 million.
Did they approach Philly?
In a situation where they had to pay Reddick.
Exactly. Now, my thing is this: did they approach Philly and ask out of nowhere, or where they knew that he was on the block? But my thing is this: if he's on the block, you got to know that that's why Philly has him on the block, because they're going to have a contract dispute. But I mean, I don't get why they made this trade if they didn't already plan to pay him.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like they have every intention of paying the man. They're just playing it out right now.
But what?
I agree. I agree.
Give him the money. He's not showing up to mandatory camp. He's not gelling with his team. There is absolutely zero advantage.
Agreed. I'm not saying that. What I'm trying to say is I agree with you. I think that's part of the mistake. I don't think overall it was a mistake in general, unless these things happened or didn't happen. I still want him here. I still want the Jets to pay him. Figure it out. Listen, the 49ers have a million players that they pay a crazy amount of money, and they figure it out every year. They're able to give running backs extensions and pay receivers and pay that tremendous defense. Figure it out. Other teams do. Other teams are loaded with stars. Figure it out.
Speaking of teams,
I wholeheartedly agree.
Speaking of teams that are loaded with stars, this one I wanted to field to Caleb specifically because there's a love-hate, no more respect for Caleb in this particular team. Caleb, this is for you, my man. Will the big three get paid? Will Dak, CD, Micah, will these three gentlemen get paid? And if they do, order it from 1 to 3. What do you think?
I think I would say loosely yes, but it depends on Dak. Because Dak wants, if he will take less money, if he does the Tom Brady, they're golden, because then they can pay CD and they can pay Micah. If he doesn't, and he came out and said he doesn't want to get into any contract, he's going to let his people do it. He just wants the market value to be fair. Well, that's $55 million. So he kind of said no, which personally I agree with, because they don't act like they really want you either. And you got to worry about yourself. So I understand the personal, give me my money, right? Because this football, you tear your knee, that's it, right? You need that. So I get it. But CD is going to want to be, if he doesn't get more than Justin Jefferson, which I don't think he deserves, he's not going to be a far second, telling you now. So it's going to be upper 80s, 90s, guaranteed milliones. You just talked about Hassan Reddick, who I love, and it killed my heart to see him leave, especially just having him in Madden. He's so fast around that corner. Woo! I'm telling you. But anyway, I digress. But Micah is even faster in Madden. He's ridiculous. He needs to get paid too. And trust me, he wants his money. Believe it. Both of them ain't gonna want to see Dak getting top player money, and you talking about, hold on, we're gonna get you later. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're gonna get me now, right? Like, that's what it is, because they're not a jail team. They're not like a team where they down for each other. His mom, CD's mama said Dak ain't it. Parsons' brother was putting out tweets, and Micah said, I do not confirm or deny or believe my brother speaks for me. That's in your personal space that you got those people talking like that. So they're not connected. So I know what Dak does is going to impact them, and they're going to make their decisions based off of that. So nobody's not going to get their money, right? Therefore, they can't do it. There's no way. They don't have enough. Dak has to say, I'm taking less so I can have them. I don't care if we don't have to speak. But on that field, we're going to go get this chip. Now you can do something. But if he sticks to that, I need the market value, it's a wrap. There's no way. You can't keep all three, because each of them are top three, not top three, but quarterback's pay is just exuberant. You saw what happened. So I'm taking Dak out. But CD and Micah are inarguably top three at their position. You can only put two above each of them, and you can't take them out, and you know what I mean? Like there's no debate there. So you're gonna have to pay them top level at that position, and that's a whole lot of guaranteed money.
Caleb, that is the nicest you have ever spoke on the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, because I got to be fair. I got to be partial. I got to be fair, because then people gonna say I'm biased.
And
they're
that's
not
what
gonna appreciate my take.
Yeah, and I think that's what I love about your take right there. Because I was just like, okay, just thorough, just straight up. It is what it is. I love it. And if you love that, don't forget to smash the like, hit the subscribe, give us some reposts, give us some shares, kiss a baby, sell a kidney, whatever you got to do to make sure that you help us with the channel, with the pop-off. We're in the runoff. We're doing great. Only a couple topics left. And this next one is for your boy. This is going to be real cut and dry, baby. Mike Tomlin, the Mike Tomlin, got extended through 2027. My thoughts, and why is my thought? This is perfect. It's because he was hired in 2007, man. He's entering his 18th season, and in 17 of those seasons, he still has not had a losing record. I mean, it kind of feels like, is that a big deal? Yeah. Is it trivial? No, man, that's a big deal. That's a good thing to have all these moving parts. He's dealt with so many moving parts over those 17 seasons. He's coming into his 18th with a lot more moving parts, new personalities, a lot of egos, and they're working it out. He has won 173 regular season games. He has won a Super Bowl in 2008, which is far too long for me. We gotta bring it back to glory. If not win the chip, we gotta make sure when we do make the playoffs, we actually put up a fighting chance. I mean, he's the second most active coach among only the Andy Reid, which is absolutely ridiculous at KC. So, I mean, does the extension work? Does it make sense? The answer is yes. Yes. This is the third coach the Steelers have ever had in 55 years. 55 years.
That's crazy.
55 years. Give him his money. If any one of you wants to chime in, go ahead. But I mean, I just want to give you stats and figures and numbers.
I think that is a tremendous feat in the NFL to not have one losing season is amazing. That is a testament to who he is as a man, who he is as a coach, his knowledge of football, all of that. I mean, everything he's had to deal with Roethlisberger's allegations, and Antonio Brown
don't even
losing it. My boy Palomalu's shampoo bottles everywhere. I mean, it's like he had to deal with all of it and still kept a winning team on the field. You got to give that alone deserves money and respect.
Mm-hmm.
So I say that. Now, Russell?
Dude, no, I don't want to do it.
Listen, I'm just gonna see. Listen, I've been wrong. So hopefully I am for you. So you got, but I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm nervous because here, how about this? I'm gonna say this. They're in the AFC North. Rugged division. Like, that's like the AFC East. AFC East is a rugged division too. It's got a little lighter, but maybe not, because the Bills just got an influx of new receivers. And one of them I think is hilarious. But it's like there's certain divisions, the NFC East, certain things where it's just dogs. You know what I mean? And that AFC North, tragedy. Like, you don't get any easy conference games, right? I mean, divisional games. So it's a gauntlet, and it's going to be interesting to see Russell play. He played in Wisconsin, so he can play in the cold. People forget about that. And, you know, Seattle's windy and all that, but Steelers, man, you get that snow and ice. It's a different thing, but he can handle that. But I'm nervous. I don't know if he's going to cook. You know what I mean? And if he doesn't, can Fields come in and do it? Hopefully you don't need to worry about that. But that does make me a little nervous.
It's okay. That's why I'm here, to let you know that Russell will be cooking. Okay, it will be home cooking. Mike Tomlin, his accomplishments, his resume, unmatched. They have been a quarterback away for Lord knows how long. All right, Kenny Pickett. Now we got two, not one, but two quarterbacks better than Pickett. Russell Wilson. They discarded this man. They wrote this man off. And I know I'm not talking about Geno Smith. I ain't right back. They wrote this man off. But just think about his head coach, man. Think about his head coach. Look at what Nathaniel Hackett has done since. I have seen it personally with my own eyes. I do not know if Hackett has eyes. I do not know. Those could just be two glass balls in his head. But Russell, he was doing work in Denver. Sean Payton didn't like him. Okay, all right. You know, now he's got, you know, his 4 little white QBs to do what he wants. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But now he is in a team that's been a quarterback away for a while. And I think this is a season where we're all going to be surprised. Like, ooh, where did Pittsburgh come from? Where did this came out of nowhere? No, they've been here the whole time. The whole time.
All righty.
I don't really have anything to say about it, but I do want to say to all the Jet fans out there.
Did you write a letter?
Woody just referred to the Steelers as we.
Oh.
I didn't say that.
At one point he said we. I think maybe he's not even a Jet fan. He's like a spy Jet fan, and he really might be working for the Steeler Jet fans.
I mean,
Steeler fans.
I got nothing to say on that.
As soon as I heard it, I wrote it down. You see me write something. That's
I
what it
did. I was
Woody
like,
referred
what's
to
he doing? I
Steelers
thought
as
he was
we.
writing a letter. I thought you were begging Aaron to come to the OTAs. You know what I mean?
No,
It's like,
Woody referred to Steelers as we.
wow.
And nobody's speaking French.
Hey,
Maybe.
we.
We are on our last topic here, talking about football, and then we got a couple more. And the football one that I want to talk about, that I'm excited to talk about, this might be short-lived, but first, shout out to Ultra Cowboy, making it in the comments with Dak fanboys are one flew over the cuckoo's nest, melting down the new Trevor Lawrence contract. That is the topic. Trevor Lawrence getting an extension, 5 years, $275 million. Woo! Gotta pay the man. Gotta pay the man. The number one overall selection in the 2021 NFL draft went to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence making money. Woody hit it.
Oh, sorry. Did you call
Yep.
me? I did not hear it. My bad.
Dramatic pause.
Yes. This is what's tough about the NFL is that everybody wants their money, right? And the quarterback market is so, ballooned up. But what's the best model to win?
Sierra, I don't know about that one.
Robbery. I don't know about robbery, but this is definitely not a sustainable model. I mean, apart from Patrick Mahomes, the teams that we've usually seen succeed are the ones on the rookie deals because you get the small rookie, the small QB contract, and then you're able to build out massive, incredible teams around them. Jalen Hurts, when he just went to the Eagles, when he just went to the Super Bowl with the Eagles, that was that scenario. Joe Burrow, same thing. Mahomes is Mahomes.
Rock Party.
And Matthew Stafford, if you're going to say, he was somebody who got paid. They literally had a super team. They had the Avengers. Okay. If you cannot get the Avengers, the quarterback situation, the ballooning up of these quarterback contracts is really hurting teams' ability to build around them. I don't think the Jaguars have a Super Bowl caliber supporting cast for Trevor Lawrence on either side of the ball. And how are you going to get people to come through when you are throwing this type of bag at the QB? I think the Jaguars are going to be a cautionary tale. This is not about Trevor. It's not about Trevor because I think Trevor is very talented. I think he's actually one of the most talented QBs in football. So that's not about Trevor, but it is about the ability to build build rosters when you are paying your quarterback $55+ million a year. That's a lot of money. And Patrick has made it work. I just saw a graphic on CBS Sports today. The 8 quarterbacks that have surpassed that number, right? Because Patrick is the 9th highest paid quarterback. All 8, they've never won a Super Bowl. Most of them are not even on pace to win a Super Bowl because the teams around them are not great. We talk about Tom Brady, how he took pay cuts, right? We talk about Aaron Rodgers, how he didn't take pay cuts until now that he's a Jet. I think that's going to play out, and you're going to keep seeing it as these quarterbacks get paid more and win less.
Wow. Good luck to anybody who wants to top that because that all made sense. Caleb.
It makes a lot of sense, but here's what my esteemed colleague, Mr. James Woody, is overlooking. The NFL is not a government. The NFL can just change the law anytime they want. Okay, you guys can't afford to put players around them. Up the salary cap. Done. Because it's not like they're lacking money. They make more money than any other sports organization on the planet. The NFL prints its own money. They could put Roger Goodell on a $500 bill. They could put his face on it and send him out. That's how much money the NFL prints. It is nothing. It is nothing. So the owners with the 32 will get together and say, look, y'all, we're going to need y'all to up our allowance because we can't afford to put great players around these quarterbacks because we got to pay them this. And they'll say, all right, don't like my boy in the what's the comedian D.L. Hughley in the Kings of Comedy. They said, Jesus, we ran out of wine. He said, usually I don't do this, but go on and keep the party going. That's what Roger Goodell's gonna do. He's gonna look around and say, okay, don't tell nobody, but go on and add an extra $100 million to your books, right? Like, and then he'll pass it around. $3.2 billion. He could give $100 million extra to each team and be straight, and it don't matter. Like, so we're talking about it like it's a real issue, but it's not, right? It's why America, our country, can be in so much debt, but still give money to all these countries because we know it's really not real. You know what I mean? Like, so the NFL is living in that. It's actually not real. At any time, they can get the NFL to up the salary cap. They just did it like 2 seasons ago. They just keep doing it. You know what I mean? They can make it a rule. Every season, we're going to go up 2%. Right? That's when you think of numbers. If I say you're going to get 2% of $1 billion, you know how much money that is? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean. So, we're going to make it go up 2%. 1.5. That's hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, as Ali would say. Millions and millions of dollars added to the team. So now they can afford to do this. You can get Ayuk for 1 season for $25 million, $30 million. Here, I just need it for this. Like, players will start taking mercenary fees. Like, I'll do it for 1 season for this. Like they gave Jordan in his last season, they gave him $50 million on the Bulls, right? 1 season, come on. Like that type of thing. So I really believe Roger Goodell can just change this whenever the owners start complaining too much, and they'll do it. You know what I mean? Because the teams are now worth so much more money. You saw how much they sold the Commanders for, right? It was supposed to be like, it was like worth 2 or 3 billion. They sold that thing for like 6, 7, 8. They were like, oh, well, if it's that, the Cowboys are 15. The Yankees are 22. Like it just makes, because it's not real in the way that we're thinking of it. So I think it's a non-scene, as we would say in the business. It's a non-scene, meaning it doesn't make sense. We don't need it in the movie. Cut it. Because at any time they can change it. Anytime.
Gene, give us your $3 million on this.
I agree with Caleb and Woody, aka #1 Steeler fan. I agree with them both. I really have nothing to add. Like that was basically they nailed it.
Amazing. Also, I'm insulted. I'm the #1 Steelers fan on this. He can be number 2.
2.
Let's move on to a sport we don't really talk about much. Guys, it's baseball season. It's still going on. Your boy doesn't really care about it until after the All-Star break or
That's
October. Right. So let's just talk about it real quick because we know how important is Juan Soto to the New York Yankees future. And before we get into this, I just want to make sure that y'all know that you are listening to the Pop Off on behalf of the Morning Brew Sports Network. So make sure you check them out as well. There's a whole bunch of different shows you can watch. The Yankees Morning Brew is up on there. They got the Mets Evening Brew, the Rangers Ice Brew, the Pop Off, which is us, Liberty Latte. There's tons of stuff for you if you're not only a New York fan, but just a fan of sports in general. So make sure to like, subscribe, reshare, share, tell us how much you love us. Whatever you got to do, support the channel, please. We appreciate it. So, Gene, let's go to you because you had the least amount to say in the last topic. How important is Juan Soto to the Yankees?
Immensely. And the reason why, I don't think he's the best player on the team. I think it's still Judge. But I think having him on the team just lengthens that lineup. It's going to get other players around him getting better pitches to hit. I think he's and just like this, I think we came into the season a little nervous with no Garrett Cole, stuff like that. I know I was nervous. Maybe I can't speak for every Yankee fan, but I remember thinking, all right, this is going to be tough. I know we got, and I know we have Soto, but I feel like there's so many other holes elsewhere. I think that he has kind of helped vanquish those holes. I think that he's very very important to the Yankee future. I hope they sign him for a 10-year contract. I mean, he's young, he's super talented. He's going to give he's going to get other batters around him better pitches to hit. As we're seeing it with Judge and everybody else. We're seeing a little bit of a resurgence from Stanton, who's not, the average isn't up, but his home runs are back up. I think he's immensely important to the Yankee future.
Shout out to Sierra in the chat. He is their future. Judge and Soto, they are going to do big things. Woody, you a baseball guy? Let us know what's up.
Yeah, I mean, as long as she doesn't talk about the Jets, we're usually on the same page, Sierra and I. So I'm gonna have to double down that this is the future. Aaron Judge is 32, and you hate seeing the foundation of your window, tied to one player. It's like, we got to make it work, while we have this one guy. And I know, right, there are holes to fill, but having, that stud there helps. Having Soto, right, it extends the window. Now you see light after the run of Judge, and in the meantime, you have them both. Like, I feel like it is huge. Like Gene said, the word he actually said was immense, right, for their future. I will have to double down. Soto, 10 years. In 10 years, he'll be 35. He is balling right now. Judge is already 3 years away from that age. So I say lock that boy down, have these boys run out. And now when Judge, his time comes, it's not like, oh, God, you already have that succession. That's a really important, part of any well-oiled machine. I mean, they made a whole show about it on HBO. Great show, actually. But that having that succession plan is huge.
Yeah,
Caleb.
Yeah, what's interesting, because I've been checking Soto out, because contrary to popular belief, I do follow up on the little baseball tonight all the time because it's interesting. That's how I catch up on stuff. I ain't finna watch the game. No, it's too much. I got a life. I got other things I need to do. So I'm gonna watch them highlights and listen to people smarter than me talk about it. But when I watch Soto, here's what I will say, and I have caught a couple games of him playing. I will tell you this though. What's really interesting is that with all his talent and all of that, he brings a spark. I'm telling you, that was something that a guy named Yasiel Puig brought to the Dodgers for a brief moment. It's a spark that just makes other players feel like we could do it. I was just watching Major League. You know what I mean? It's like when you got that player that just gets you going. You know what I mean? And he has a little bit of that with his style of play and the way that he does it. And then with his talent. And then you got a Judge and all of that. Like, I think it's a phenomenal combination. And again, immense is a great word, because that encompasses the degree of importance to a whole nother level, and it surpasses just talent. That is a person that exudes the things that are needed to help a team continue to grow and build and become what the Yankees are definitely going after, which is another pennant. Of course, it's championship or die for that team. That's how they look at it. Every season without a World Series is a losing season. So with that in mind, these kinds of players, I think, are great. It's like Jeter did it with stillness. Jeter was never overt, but consistency always there. That sort of thing. Like you got to have people that have that. And I think Soto has that, but with more fun. And I think because he's a kid still. And I say kid because he's 25. I mean, come on. I could be his dad. You know what I mean? So
I might be his dad.
Yeah, because this is a different Gene. This is not the Gene we know. Well, ladies and gentlemen, folks, we have made it to the very end of the show. The very last segment of the show is what we missed. Is there anything out there, fellas, that maybe we missed? I'll start. I'll let you guys know that the Florida Panthers, renowned for ice, for making ice, for all their ice events, for everything that's cold, No, none of that is in Florida. None. But they lead the series 3-0 against the Edmonton Oilers. They beat them up last night 4-3. Out of nowhere, the score was 4-1 in the second period. It was a wild game. Unfortunately, the Panthers have come out on top. They have one more game to finish out. So this could be another final sweep. Potentially game 4 is tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. I might be watching some. Not a lot. I'm not a big hockey guy, but I feel like when you have one Canadian team in a finals, they're your team. So that's one thing. Another thing is, and I want Woody, I want you to speak to this because when we were talking about it in the chat, you chimed in and you had dropped the resume of this lovely, lovely human, the NBA icon and Hall of Famer West. He passed away. He was the age of 86. Woody, can you let the people know how iconic he, in fact, was?
Absolutely. In my opinion, he is one of the most influential people in the history of basketball. If you are an NBA fan, you see him every day because he is indeed the logo. Jerry West, a player who made the All-Star team 100% of the 14 seasons he was in the league. 14-time All-Star. Okay, he is the only Finals MVP in their history. 70-plus years of the NBA Finals, only one player has won the MVP as a loser. That is Jerry West. There is no player in the history, count them up, all the years, that averaged more points per game in a playoff series than Jerry West. That's 44 points per game. You know, this guy is somebody who, you know, if he just retired when he retired back in 1974, I believe, and just rode off into the sunset, he would still be one of the most influential, you know, guys to ever play this sport. But what he's done post his playing days has much more of an impact to, you know, the boys and girls today who think that, you know, everything today is the best thing since sliced bread. Oh, we done with the 90s. We done with this era. We done with all these plumbers. Well, guess who built the most recent dynasty in the sport? Jerry West built the Golden State Warriors. Before that, he built the Kobe and Shaq Lakers. Before that, he built the Showtime Lakers. Every dynasty that has taken place in this sport, besides the Bulls and the Spurs, can be accounted to the one man who did everything he could as a player to hoist up that trophy. He only won once, lost 7 times, but as an executive, was able to right those wrongs and build units that kept winning championships after championships. All those teams that he built won 3 or more titles together because of his hard work. He is somebody whose impact on this sport will forever, forever be felt. The legend Jerry West.
R.I.P. to the man, the myth, the legend. Anyone else? Anything you missed?
Yeah, listen, amen. Woody said it best. And, you know, Jerry hired Phil Jackson. He traded to get Kobe Bryant, meaning he picked him. He made the deal to get Shaq from Orlando and bring him to LA. Jerry did that. Then he left and he built the Warriors. And when he says built, y'all, that little kid with the ankle braces, I know his daddy. Bring him here. That other kid, the light-skinned boy with the curly top, bring him here. I know his daddy. He played on the Lakers. Wasn't good, but we got him. Right? Like, put it together. If you don't know what I'm talking about Michael Thompson, who's Klay Thompson's father, and Steph and all that. But, guys, like, Woody is not BSing. Like, that is a hell of a feat. And you know what's crazy? Judging from his personality, I know deep down, he would have gave all those rings back for one when he played. He hated them Celtics. They beat him every time. Except the one that he won. He got, you know, but like, it's, but he was a phenomenal basketball savant, probably the greatest mind of my generation of seeing it because I was alive to see him do all of these things. And, you know, rest in peace.
Gene, anything from you?
We're all fathers, including Celso behind the boards. Happy Father's Day, everybody, this weekend.
Yeah, happy Father's Day.
And
even Dustin Poirier, who is putting his children up in front of his career.
Idiot. Listen, leave Gene. Gene's back. It took the whole pod, but Gene came back.
And by the way, I started my training yesterday for O'Malley. I'm in boxing training.
Okay.
My first class was yesterday. So, Sugar Sean, this is for you.
Yeah.
Amazing. And from us to you and from the Morning Brew Sports Network, thank you so much for being with us here at the Pop-Off. We are doing it every Friday. We'll cover the sports from around the world, from the week. We're going to do the damn thing. So thank you so much. And don't forget, like, subscribe, share, all the things. But better yet, Caleb, why don't you finish with the final words?
Love, peace, and soul.
Have a good weekend, y'all.